Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back to Friend Seekers Anonymous. We have a very important message broadcasting live right now, and it is Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I don't know why I said it so deeply, but it just felt
I
right.
like the opera singing. I actually think it's very festive.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. I had that song stuck in my head. I think that's why it happened.
You know what? If podcasting doesn't work for us, let's become opera singers.
Definitely.
But anyway, Happy New Year, for real.
This week, we wanted to just talk a little bit about what it means to be starting a new year and maybe what your New Year's resolutions might be. And if you're not the kind of person that likes to make a list of New Year's resolutions, let me add just one to your mind, and that is pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and trying to expand your social group by just trying out a few new opportunities to meet people.
Yeah, New Year is the perfect time to do some things that maybe scare you a little bit or make you uncomfortable, and we will be your accountability buddies for 2025. We're going to be trying a lot of stuff. We're going to be trying a bunch of different apps. We already talked about Bumble BFF, but we're going to be trying 222, Time Left, the Creative Lunch Club. These are all great apps for meeting strangers in your area and just connecting with people. And then we also, in the spirit of New Year and doing some things that are outside of our comfort zone, we also want to try some other stuff like in real life, IRL, for lack of a better term, friend making, like volunteering, taking classes, just putting ourselves out there with people without the help of an app. And we're also going to be reading a few articles and books about how to be social in adulthood and telling you guys our thoughts.
Yep. So if you guys have anything that you want to add to that list, please let us know, because the list is ever evolving and we really just want to try out as many things as we can and report back. And I think it's so funny how we've really been focusing on apps and websites to help out.
Yeah.
But there are so many opportunities to meet people in real life, IRA. It's so funny that there's literally a little acronym for it, because
I know, right? Because of how rare it is.
it's so rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, we want to talk about a few of our experiences and how meeting people in real life really does work if you can just find the right opportunity, and how to get yourself there.
But also, you know, I think it's a really great idea to sort of pair up a bunch of different stuff, because when I was only trying to meet people in IRL, in real life, when it didn't pan out, I got really discouraged and I felt anxious, and every social situation, I think I was way too intense because they all felt like life or death. But if you can make like a little mixture of like some apps, some services, some IRL,
Just diversify your portfolio. I'm dead serious though, because honestly, I had that experience too when I first started using Bumble BFF when I first moved to LA.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I was using. And so it did kind of feel like that's my lifeline to meet new people. And it also made me really closed off to trying anything else. Like before I knew about Bumble, I didn't even know anything existed. And then once I figured out Bumble existed, I didn't look for anything else.
Yeah, dude, honestly, Lifeline is so real. That was kind of my experience too, except with in-person stuff. I went to acting classes for work, and then I also went to like workout classes, like spin class and stuff. And those felt like my lifeline. Like those felt like my only opportunities to make friends after I first moved here. And so honestly, I think I was just way fucking intense. Like, because I was looking around being like, are you my best friend?
I know, for real.
Are you my best friend?
Also, I think it is just such a better way to approach a new friendship by already having a few others and not putting that much pressure on the you know, your want for a new connection to blossom into something bigger. And so yeah, if you're, you know, being social in a bunch of different ways, then when you do meet people, hopefully there won't be that pressure, and then it can naturally form into whatever it's meant to be.
Totally. And if you don't already have a few like people, if you're feeling like especially lonely and every friend connection does feel like life or death, I think, like you said, the way to take off the pressure is just to know you've got a bunch of different like pots cooking. So even if you don't make your first friend through X avenue, you can make it through Y avenue. But
let's not get into statistics here.
No, it's algebra.
I'm like, my brain has already
Diversified
unsubscribed.
portfolio is enough for you.
But no, seriously, I do think that like coming into the new year, one of the aspects of, January of any year is that there's, you've likely been very busy for many weeks on end.
Are crazy busy for everybody,
Yes,
I think.
and I think that that is like a point of the year when it's hard to connect with people in your life because you probably have commitments with your family or you're going out of town or you're just really busy. And like, I know a lot of people's like work weeks get so intense towards the end of the year. And so I do think
you're probably focusing on family too. So it's a hard time to meet new people.
100%. So I do think it's really good to mindfully go into the new year knowing that maybe you haven't been on your social game with your current friends or obviously probably honestly, probably. Sorry. But no, I feel like the chances that you've been actively seeking out new friends towards the end of the year are probably pretty slim.
Low.
So anyway, let us go and try out a bunch of stuff, and then we're gonna just report back what we've done so far, and just try to give you some food for thought of different avenues that you can check out in January.
Think of us as your guinea pigs.
We are your test dummies.
We will say, I think we'll try everything out, but January and February are really great times of the year for you guys to be trying stuff out too, because I think that January is the time when everybody, not just us, but everybody is kind of pushing themselves out there. So you're likely to get like new people on Bumble BFF, more people using 222 and some of the other apps I created. I think people just tend to be a lot more open in January, which is always funny because it's just another month of the year.
I know. And, let me just say, like, I at times have been very frustrated by people that are like, oh my God, these are my New Year's resolutions and I'm a changed person and I'm about to be this. And I'm like, good luck with that for like literally 2 weeks of consistency until you inevitably go back to your routine.
Totally.
But I do think it's good to just have in mind some things that you want to work on. And I think growing, your social skills is just a great way to start. And I feel like everybody's coming out of their little holiday funk. And also, I don't know about you guys, but, I work a 9 to 5 and the only time I really get off is holidays. And when you go into the new year, there's just not very many holidays for, maybe January to March, April, So there's going to be a big chunk of time in the new year when you're probably busting your ass and, you are missing the holidays and maybe getting into a little seasonal depression over winter. And I think that you can combat that by trying to take whatever free time that you do have and go apply it to meeting new people, putting yourself out there, and like trying to set it up to where you have connections that hopefully can get you through the little lull of not having any holidays to look forward to.
Totally. Speaking of New Year's and New Year's resolutions and what we're going to try, I think we should talk a little bit about the difference between using online and in-person avenues of meeting people. Like we already talked about it a little bit in terms of taking the pressure off. But I also think we should talk about how effective it is, because I know a lot of people who wind up on Bumble BFF and 222 have just kind of given up on in-person stuff. Because with in-person, it is so touch and go. Like there's some stuff that's really effective and there's some stuff that's not. And there's a lot of like trial and error. Like for me, and I'm sure you have some experiences like this, acting class or just classes in general, like an acting class, a painting class, pottery, whatever, can be a really great way to meet people, but it can also not. And it is so heavily dependent, in my opinion, on the demographics of like who's there. Like when I first moved to LA, I wound up in a lot of classes with people who are just way older than me. Like I was in my like late teens, early 20s, and everybody in my class was like 35 plus, which I think, I don't know if I'd say that's a common experience, but I think it's a common experience that for whatever reason you go to some class and there's just
it's not what you're looking for. And like even me, like I'm about to start a ceramics class, and the girl that I'm going with is a few years older than me, and I honestly I don't know what to expect when it comes to this class, because I like to think of an art class as being like early 20s kind of people.
Totally.
But it's not even an intro class, because I took a ceramics class back in college, and so I'm just kind of starting a little ahead of the game with like this creative trimming class.
Master.
So I'm probably going to be awful, but
I'm going to make fun of everything
We shall see. That's why you're not getting gifted anything. But honestly, something tells me that it probably is going to be older people there. And so maybe that's not going to be something that brings me a bunch of new friends. But hey, it will hopefully get me a little bit more social.
Yeah.
And I think being able to socialize with any age group, any demographic, like that's such a big life skill. And so, I feel like a common denominator of what we're trying to touch upon in this podcast is like how to build your community of friends. But at the same time, like there's just such a big importance in developing your social skills so that you can be in any life situation and not feel crippled by your social anxiety, not feel like you're in your head or like have this expectation that you're supposed to act a certain way.
And I also think like the thing about making friends, which is definitely like what this podcast is about, is that to make friends, you have to have social skills. And I think I was definitely guilty of this early on. I would walk into spaces where I was like, there's not really anybody who's like a great friend match for me here. And then I'd kind of just check out socially because I was like, making conversation is scary and like new people are intimidating. And I wouldn't be like lifelong besties with any of you anyway. So I'm just not going to put myself out there.
Oh, yeah.
And that was such a missed opportunity.
There's so many people who are like that. I think that it is just such a good approach to bettering yourself and to growing your group of friends and loved ones by just associating with people that are not the people that you're necessarily used to being around. Like, I think that anybody can learn and grow and become a better person if they're exposed to, people that have a different mindset, have a different lifestyle, different careers, different industries. Like, I really do think one of my New Year's resolutions, and this has been something I've been really trying to get at for many years, is just to challenge myself to be in situations that maybe I'm not inherently going to be comfortable in, because I think that I will learn and grow and, learn things about myself and my approach to meeting people through those experiences.
I also think, speaking of like taking the pressure off and trying to come in less intense and more open, like a really great way to take the pressure off of engaging socially is to engage with people who you don't necessarily think you want to be friends with. Like, I think everybody can relate to like when you come across someone in life who you're like, oh my gosh, you seem like you'd be such a good friend for me, like, and you feel really nervous and it feels like really intense and precious and important, that really puts the pressure on. So I think having these experiences with people who are really different, who you might not necessarily gravitate towards, but who you can practice with, not like practice, but honestly, basically practice.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people who hopefully have found this podcast are really just trying to be introspective and like learn new approaches to being social. And that can mean so many different things. Like, I don't want people to only socialize with the type of people that they've always socialized with, like even just people in your age group, like I really do think it is good to meet and spend time with people of every age group, of every, industry, like, whatever opportunities you have to meet a new person, I think you should really, really take a hold of that opportunity and just learn what you can learn from it. And I think that a lot of people who struggle with social anxiety and just, maybe low self-esteem or just feeling like they don't approach those kind of experiences naturally, like, put yourself in them more often, because you'll learn about yourself. You'll realize that what you want to bet, most people like spending time with you, and that, you can really spend time with anybody and make the best out of it if you have that perspective going into it.
Totally. I 100% agree.
So yeah, one New Year's resolution that I'm trying to adopt is just to put myself in situations that are outside of my comfort zone. And a few different like examples of that I've done recently is the other day I got up really, really early in the morning, which is atypical for me, and
I was floored.
I got up very early, and so I was just like, man, what do I do with my time? I could start work early, but that sounds awful, and so I'm not gonna do that. I ended up just getting my little dog in the car, and I went and got myself coffee, and then I was just reading a few articles online while I was sipping my coffee, and then I was like,
so
man,
intellectual.
I know, so good. But yeah, and then after that I was just like, man, I still have so much time to kill, and so I, my boyfriend hadn't woken up yet, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go find a dog park close by and like take my little dog and like, just go explore the area a little bit more, because for instance, a way that I kind of stay in my bubble is I have this little dog. I've only ever taken him to one dog park in LA, and I've met a lot of the people, a lot of the regulars that go there, but guess what? There's a million of them. And so
true.
I've always like driven like 20 minutes away for this one dog park. And I was like, you know what? I got time to kill this morning. Like, let me just go find a new one.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't have headphones with me. I didn't have anything. I like went into it knowing that I have some energy this morning and I'm just going to go chit chat with somebody. And so I went to the dog park and there were only 2 people there at the little dog section. And one of them was this older lady, probably in her like 70s. And then another one was this girl in her like, early to mid 20s. And so I go up to the girl who's in the 20s first. And I just sat next to her and like we made a little joke because a dog had come up to my coffee and like spilled it a little bit on her dog's leash. And so I was like, oh my God, like I'm so sorry. Like he caught me by surprise. And so anyway, so we giggled over that. And then, I asked her like, which one's yours? And like, what's your dog's name? And like, how long have you had him?
That feels like moms at the playground.
Oh, totally. And so yeah, I was just chit-chatting with her because I had energy. I hopped up on my caffeine. I'm like, can't talk to my boyfriend and you weren't answering. I'm like, what do I do with myself?
I was asleep.
That's a personal problem to me. So anyway, so yeah, I'm chit-chatting with her, but like, I'm not gonna lie, this girl, like, she was responding to a few of the things I said, but she wasn't asking me any like follow-up questions.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, maybe she's just like not in the mood to talk. And guess what? That's okay. Like that's one of those situations where I put myself out there. I tried to chit chat. She wasn't really, meeting me where I was at. And so, you know what? No harm done. And
I also think it's really important to remember, like, that's a great thing to do in the new year. Absolutely love that. But also, like, I think sometimes the fear of doing that is, like, are they going to be receptive? Like, it is scary. She's a lot more social than I am and a lot less shy than I am. And so for me, it can be really scary to just like walk up to somebody, especially if I don't know that they're interested in receiving that energy. But I think an awesome attitude to take is like, you're not trying to make a friend off the bat. You're not even trying to have like a 15-minute conversation off the bat. You can start with something really little, like a little joke or a little compliment, like whatever, and then feel their energy. And if their energy is like, no thank you, that's fine, move on with your day.
100%.
Like, it was just a little interaction.
And like dog park specifically for anybody who has a little pup, it's just such an easy place to socialize because at the end of the day, regardless if you're looking for friends or community or whatever, like I do think it's good to just meet the other people in your area because dogs are interacting and like
people can interact
too. And like the friends that I have that have dogs, like they go to the same dog park pretty much every day, and so you do end up like having a little community there. And so seeing one of my friends kind of create that for herself, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go and chit chat with whoever's there.
So how'd it go? At first you were interviewing her.
I was interviewing her. She wasn't really interested. So then I was like, you know what? I just got up. I started throwing a ball for my dog. And then another dog was like running and grabbing it. So then I used that as an opportunity to go talk to the older lady. And so I go up to her and I do the same thing. I'm like, your dog is so cute. Like, what's his name? And I was like, how long have you had him? And and he looked just like my little dog. And so they were playing together and it was so cute. They were like, brother. So they were jumping all over. And so honestly, that's a really easy way to be social. Like our dogs are interacting. Like, let me get to know you. You never know. You could do like a little puppy play date at some point or, like these are our children. We need to socialize them. And then we were chit-chatting about our experience with different dog parks. And anyway, it was a really easy, lighthearted conversation. And then at a certain point, it kind of hit a lull. And she was like, all right, well, I gotta head out of here so I can go get to birthday party planning. And I was like, I'm so happy for you. Like, have so much fun and like, Happy New Year. And so it was just super cute. And so then she leaves and then it's just me and that girl who I'd already tried to talk to, but like wasn't really responding super intensely in the beginning, but I had intentionally left my coffee cup over by her.
You so smart.
Because I was like, I might end up going and trying it again because why not? And so I left my coffee cup, and so then I had to go back for it after I got done talking to the other lady. And I feel like once the 20-something-year-old saw that I was talking to the older lady and I was super friendly and I was just chit-chatting and, I'm like not a scary person, then it seemed like she was way more inclined to talk to me after she saw that interaction. And so anyway, I just went back and like I started going on my phone and then I literally was just like, your dog is the cutest thing because he's a little corgi and he had the tiniest little legs. He was just trotting over. Oh my God. I was like, your dog is so cute. And And so I don't even remember what I said after that, but I just started asking her more questions about her dog. I was like, lady, I'm going to give you one more chance.
Yeah. One more, Miss
One
Girl.
more chance. But I was just like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm trying to kill time. Like, no harm done. I'm just going to give it one more swing. And then I was just like, well, like, how have you, like, been able to, like, maintain friends in the area, like, you know, being from the same area that you live in now? And she was like, well, girl, like, don't even get me started. Like, I had a bunch of friends in high school. I really don't talk to any of them now just because I'm a completely different person than I was in high school. And I've kind of outgrown them. And so I've met a few of my close friends through work. But other than that, you know, I really kind of keep a small circle. And so it just kind of clicked in my head. Like, I had another friend who you met who was also from the area. And like something just told me, when she told me she lived like 5 minutes up the street from the dog park, which is about 10 minutes away from me. I was like, something tells me you may have gone to school with this like mutual friend that I had. And so randomly I was like, okay, this is out of the blue, but like, do you know this person? And she was like, oh my God, yes. And she was like, are you Cash? And I was like, yes.
Oh, yes.
And like, that was so crazy. She knew me because this other girl who she went to high school with was posting about me for a long time when we were friends. And yeah, she like literally knew my name. And she was like, oh my God, like I didn't see your tattoos, so I didn't know it was
that
you.
Would make me feel so famous.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was scrubbing that morning and I was like, Sam, even in my sweats, they can spot me out.
You're so funny.
But honestly, it was really like cool. And I was like, man, what a small world. And so I was telling her how like, yeah, like I used to be friends with this girl, but we kind of had a falling out. And she was like, oh my God, I also had a falling out with her too.
That's crazy.
And I was like, whoa, like what a small world. And yeah, I don't even remember fully what we talked about after that, but like we talked about that girl and like our experience there. And like we both agree, like there's nothing wrong with her, but like it was not enough connection. Not a long-term compatible fit. But it was such an easy, like, shared experience to then, like, chit-chat about. And so then I told her more about the podcast, more about you. She actually recognized you as well.
I also feel very famous.
I brought you up, and she was like, oh, my God, is that the redhead? And I'm like, yes. And so anyway, it was super cute. And so after that, we were just talking about, like, how we handle friendship conflict and, like, when when a friendship is not going to work out. Like, literally all the stuff that I talked to you about.
Love it.
I was just chit-chatting with her.
I should have her on the pod.
That's what I'm saying. I just met this girl and it was super like free flowing, which it hadn't been the first time around when I tried to go to her. But that just, underscores the fact that if you are determined and if you go into a situation with,
good energy
and knowing that like it doesn't matter how it ends up, like that person could receive you and be really interested in getting to know you or not. And guess what? It doesn't matter.
I completely agree. And I also think that that's a really good thing to think about in terms of New Year's resolutions, because I think the initial like impulse is to make a New Year's resolution like, oh, I want to make new friends or like, expand my social circle in this way. I think a much better resolution to have, and one that's likely to feel less pressureful and more just like open-ended, and that you could feel like
pressureful.
Good about yourself.
I love that word.
Good about yourself for doing is like, it's not I want to make more friends, but just I want to put myself out there more. Like, you went to this dog park and you weren't like, I'm going to make a friend at this dog park. You were just like, I'm going to put myself outside my comfort zone and talk to somebody.
Yeah, I was literally just feeling lonely. Like, not even lonely, but I just had energy and I didn't know where to put it. And so I was like, I just don't care. I'm just going to go chit chat with somebody.
For me, I actually just had a situation like that recently because I like to go to dance classes sometimes. And when I first moved here, I was like, I'm going to like try and meet friends through dance classes because that seems like something that'll draw in people like my age, similar interests, whatever. But every time I went, it wound up either feeling like too much pressure because whatever people did seem like they'd be good friend matches just weren't very open to me, or there was nobody and I was getting disheartened and I was like, this just isn't a vibe for me. So recently I went to one and I went in not with the mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna like try and make a friend, but just like, I want to connect with somebody. So I went up to this one girl who seemed like about at my level, like we were struggling with the same thing, like bumbling through the same move.
I love that.
And I think I just opened with some joke about like how hard like little pirouettes are or something. And then like we got talking about like how long we had been dancing and what like classes we were going to and if we liked this teacher and like a fair amount of stuff. But it didn't feel as intense or as like nerve-wracking because my mindset going in really was not I'm gonna make friends with this girl. It was just I'm gonna like talk to somebody. And I think I'll see her at like the next couple of classes because I did ask her, and this is like if you're interested in making friends, a good thing to do. Like I did ask her how often she comes and which classes she goes to, just so that I know we have like future opportunities to see each other. But off tops, it was a really like low-key vibe and a lot more, it sounds so backwards, but like a lot more about me and what my goals were and what I wanted than like trying to like get something from this person, which it sounds like was your experience too.
100%. Yeah. No, I had
Like you had energy.
I had energy. She honestly seemed like she didn't, but I was just like, you know what? I have nothing to lose here. Like,
Totally.
I'm just doing me. And if you happen to vibe with that, then slay.
So slay.
But yeah, I think dance classes, like literally any type of classes, are a great opportunity. Like even like I was saying about my ceramics class that I'm about to start, I very well might be in that class with nobody my age. But it doesn't matter. Like, that's not why I'm going. I'm not specifically going to make friends. I'm specifically going just to try something new. And I know that an aspect of that is going to be meeting people that are new and people that are maybe better at ceramics than me, people who have different skills than I do. Like, I know that there's going to be some type of opportunity to, like, grow by doing this class, even if in the end my ceramics look like shit and everybody's 45 years old. You know, it doesn't matter.
Totally. Now, since this is a New Year's episode on the theme of holidays in general, let me ask you, what are you most nervous about for the new year and what are you most excited about? Tell me all your hopes and dreams right now. Let me read your dream journal.
I should have a dream journal. That sounds nice.
I think I should have one too.
Maybe
My dreams
that
get
should
crazy.
be my
I've had,
resolution.
like, way too many dreams where I'm Princess Diana, which I feel like needs to be
That's
unpacked.
so wild. Bro, I haven't even told you this. This is a side note that the listeners can just hear
along.
people.
Yeah.
I just went down the Harry and Meghan rabbit hole recently.
I went down
I
the Harry and
haven't
Meghan
even
rabbit
had a
hole.
chance to debrief this with you.
Okay.
Oh,
Can we
my
start a
God.
Harry and Meghan podcast?
We absolutely can.
Did you watch their Netflix show?
I started it, but then I'm also watching some like YouTube docuseries.
Amazing.
I'm also listening to a book on Audible with my sister.
Wait, is it Harry's
No,
like-
it's like Meghan. It's like Meghan and Harry. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Okay.
But anyway, it like deep dives into both of their lives, both of their childhoods,
Amazing.
and then also like how we got to where we're at. And let me say, it's not like a hate book at all. Like it's literally just like talking very unbiased about, well, you know, where we got to here.
The royal family in general too. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just eating it up.
Maybe we literally should make a podcast just for Harry and Meghan.
I'm
We
not
could
gonna-
debrief it.
My mind is blown.
If you guys would watch that, leave it in the comments.
I hope you would. I want to
Please.
create it.
You know, we're gonna make it, and then there'll just be 2 views, you and me.
Honestly, I see no issues with that.
Deadass.
Okay.
So
Side
hopes and
note's
dreams
done.
for 2025.
I liked the other topic better. Okay, hopes and dreams. This is honestly probably the first time I'm thinking about it, but I think my biggest hope for the new year is that I can just change my lifestyle. Like, I really enjoy my life now, but I do feel like I've kind of hit this lull and like this like stagnancy where I'm kind of just stuck in a routine where I just do the things that I'm supposed to do. I work my 9 to 5. I hang out with my boyfriend. I hang out with my couple friends. I'm not really like growing. I'm not pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. I'm not like becoming more intellectual. Like I'm not like actively learning things in my day-to-day life. And like that has always been a huge goal of my life. It's like something that kept me pushing through like high school and college. Like I love learning things and I love growing as a person and feeling like I'm maturing, getting older, and, you know, becoming a more well-rounded person. And like since I'm not in college anymore, and since, you know, I a lot of my time is consumed by my day job, I just feel like, oh, there's like not very many opportunities to do that. But that is complete BS in my opinion, because there are a million other people who are wanting to do the same thing, and, you know, wanting to do something and actually following through are two separate things. And I've been really stuck in that cycle where it's like I talk about wanting to do these things, but then I just don't follow through because I'm tired and I don't have enough free time and I have so many other responsibilities and obligations. But like I think it's really good to just put that aside and like obviously don't try to change every aspect of your life at once. That's never going to work. But like taking on one new thing, maybe one new thing a month, like that's, I think that would maybe be a good
that's a great
goal for myself, you know, like let's not overdo it. But like, you know, I'm starting the ceramics class in January. That'll be a new thing. I'm even thinking about taking a class at the local community college, not because I need the credits, but just because there's a class that I saw that's interesting. And it's like, you know, design drafting, like pretty much like learning to design things online. And I'm like, whoa, that'd be cool. And so just like I've like never thought about really doing those kind of things, but the opportunity presented itself and I'm like, fuck it. Like, why not?
Let's do it. I love that. I think that's really good. Now you ask me, but why not?
Wait, I have to tell you the thing I'm most afraid of.
Oh, yeah. Tell me your deepest fear.
I will. If you let me.
No, it's about me.
Finley, you're done. Honestly, though, my fear is that I'm going to inevitably take on too much in trying to become less stagnant and trying to grow. And I'm going to get burnt out and I'm just going to like fall right back into the same routines. And like this has straight up been an issue for me for pretty much my entire adult life, which is I have all of these ambitious dreams of what I'm going to do, what I'm going to become, what my career is going to be. And then I just bite off more than I can chew consistently. And then, you know, I do the change for a while. It feels good. And then at some point, something happens to really push me over the edge where I just get too overwhelmed. And then all of the progress that I've made just like falls by the wayside.
I think that's a super valid fear. And I also think that like the New Year's resolution of like one new thing a month is honestly a great way to like avoid that, because I think you do have a tendency to take these huge bites, like take a big bite out of something and then spit it back out because it's too big. Yeah. But it I love the idea of just taking little bites, like one new thing.
Because like genuinely that's the only way that you're going to grow, because like you mentally like can't take on more than like one new thing at a time, because then the focus isn't about that new thing. It's about all of these different things and how they're going to blend together. And, you know, anyway, so I would say try to avoid the fad diets of the new year. Try to avoid like huge lifestyle changes in tandem with all of these other things that you're trying to do. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, yes, like I want to push myself outside my comfort zone, I want to meet new people, focus on just that for like a month or two and just
take it small, like baby steps. If you're a really shy person like me, try some of the apps. You can like see our experience with it, but also just take off tiny bites, like make an effort to like make a quick conversation with somebody at the grocery store, at the coffee shop, like little stuff.
Yeah, go to the dog park once and or like, you know, download Bumble BFF, start chit-chatting with a couple different people. Maybe wait a few months before you even think about trying a new method, you know? Like we're talking about all these different methods here. Pick one and just try it out for a little while and like, see how it works. But anyway, definitely my fear is just that I'm going to make choices based on fear and, you know, and I'm not going to be like living my true authentic life because I bite off more than I can chew and then I get afraid, I get overwhelmed, and then I just want to go back to what's familiar and stable and normal for me. And I'm capable of so much more than that. Everybody else is, you know, but like I think that this is really something that many people struggle with, which is that like we have all these dreams, but like you can't take them all on at once. And, you know, you really like there's so much time. There's so much time. I mean, I know that like, you know, our time on this earth is not guaranteed, but guess what? A lot of us have got many, 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 many more years to figure it out. And so let's not try to just do it all right now. Like the life is supposed to be lived in the journey, not the destination. I keep trying to reiterate that to myself.
I think that's so good.
Anyway, okay, your turn.
My turn. Okay. I think my goal for the new year is, I think previously, especially after like moving here and trying to meet people and just winding up getting so socially drained, I became like a really results-oriented person. Like I'm already naturally shy, and naturally like social stuff is a bit energy draining for like it takes energy from me. So I think I just got into this mindset where I was like, if there's not going to be an obvious output from this, I don't want to do it. Like I don't want to go to this event if there's not somebody there that I could like meet and become friends with, or I'm not going to talk to this person because there's no way we'll become friends. Like I just was so conservative with all of my social energy, and I wouldn't ever like put myself out there if I didn't think that I was going to get something tangible out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that first of all, I think it probably shut me off from some really valuable social opportunities and like learning experiences. But I also think it honestly just made me really rusty. Like it made me a lot more nervous and a lot more rusty on my social skills. And I think social anxiety really compounds on itself. Like I think every time that I declined to do a social thing or declined to like just strike up a conversation with somebody, that was just more me telling myself that I am like too nervous for this, or that it's just too hard or too scary or whatever. So I think my New Year's resolution is to just, I mean, it sounds so basic, but just put myself out there more and actively put myself out there without a goal-oriented mindset.
Yes.
Like just meet people for the sake of meeting people, shake off the rust, and just really like remind myself that not everything has to have a direct like one-to-one outcome. And also it's not that deep. Like I think by focusing so much on like what I would get out of something, I made it all so serious. Like I'd talk to this girl at a dance class previously and be like, is she going to be my best friend?
Yeah.
Like it's not that serious. It's not that deep. We're all on this earth together. We're all part of like the human race. We should just talk to each other more.
Wait, we are?
Like, and I love what you said about making community too, like making local community and just starting to get to know your neighbors. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to add you to my friend group, but just like, you know, you go to my coffee shop and now I know your name.
100%. Like, dude, I feel like people don't focus on that as much as they used to. And like, maybe it's a post-pandemic thing, but I honestly think like ever since the internet came into fruition, you know, like people struggle being social in real life without that feeling that there's a reason, you know, and like there's an outcome.
And I think it's become so like sort of weird for some people to imagine just socializing for the sake of socializing, because we do always have like our phones and the internet, and it's more addicting and it's less hard. It takes less energy to just go on your phone. So I think my goal is to connect with strangers more and be on my phone less, and hopefully I can have a little dog park moment.
I loved it so much. You can adopt my child anytime you want.
I'm gonna
temporarily.
No, I'm absconding with him.
Okay,
he's mine.
You are gonna be banned from the household. But yeah, I really, really like that because honestly, like there's so much to learn about yourself through any number of social experiences. And so, you know, like if you want friends, maybe it's better to go into situations without that in mind. And you know, people might disagree with me, but I do feel like the root of so much social anxiety is just the expectation of how it's gonna go. The being in your head and like coming up with, you know, a scenario of like what's gonna happen, what's the positive outcome of this, what's the negative outcome, like what the effect is it gonna have on me. Like I think there's so much beauty in trying to just live in the world and not in your head, you know, and don't have expectations of how things are gonna go. Like live life free flowing and, you know, just take what comes your way and remind yourself that like, you know, we are not our successes, we are not our accolades, we are not, you know, our past. Like we are the people right here, right now, doing the best that we can. And so regardless of how any number of social experiences go, like that's not who you are. That's one experience you had. And hopefully you'll learn lessons from that you can apply to the next ones.
Absolutely.
And so if you have social anxiety, just remind yourself like it probably does come from that feeling of like, you know, this is how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And like, you don't know that. Like any scenario you come up with is an assumption, maybe based on past experiences or, you know, just your own self-doubts. And like, those things are not real. Those things are not tangible.
And also, even if it does go that way, and I say this as somebody with social anxiety, even if it does go that way, it's not the end of the world. Like if you walk up to somebody at a dog park and you try to strike up a conversation with them and they're like, fuck off, I hate you. Yeah. That will be very surprising, but it's not the end of the world. You'll go on with your day and be like, wow, that person was a jerk.
Seriously.
And it is what it is.
I do think that it's, like I said, like character building to like put yourself in those situations, because it is really scary for most people to talk to anybody new, any stranger, any new potential friend, you know, of any age group. up, like it is anxiety provoking because you can get that instant social feedback on your phone or your computer or just linking up with the people that you know very well. But, you know, how do you grow and mature and learn new things if you're not around new people, new experiences, and being exposed to like new ideas?
Totally.
You know, and so yeah, I really, really love that for you.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited. I think we should wrap it up.
Wait. One more thing. You need to tell us what your fear is.
I know. I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay. I like that.
My fear. That's a great question. I think my fear is like the fear of any socially anxious person, just that like I don't or I won't have the conversational skills or I won't be like smooth enough or charming enough to strike up fun conversations with strangers, or that I just won't be well received or I'll be off-putting to people. And I think it's a really valid fear, but I also think it's one of those fears where I think I can divulge myself of it the more that I practice.
Yep.
But also like I think it's the natural thing that pops into your mind when you're putting yourself out there. And if it comes true, I can work through it. Like if it turns out I try to strike up a conversation with somebody and it is ill received, I can learn some things.
Yeah. And not everybody's gonna love you.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're freaking Selena Gomez out there, like not everybody is gonna love you.
And that's fine. Like I'm almost excited to like challenge that fear, but also just to make myself stop being afraid of it. Like, yeah, I am sure that with this resolution, I will hit some moments where it is really fucking awkward or it's obvious somebody doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And I will still keep living. Like the world will keep turning. Everything will be fine.
Yes. And I say this to my friends and family sometimes, and not everybody loves it, but I think there's so much truth in it.
I love
this. Which is that your fears are your own personal problem. Like literally, like when your fears come up, I would embolden you to try just reminding yourself, like, that's a personal problem. Like, that's nobody else's problem with me. And even if, you know, a fear that you have has been validated by somebody else, like, that's then their personal problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like if that's somebody that you love that's giving you some criticism, like maybe be open to taking that as to calm the inner fear that that's real, and to calm the actual fear that this person maybe is going to judge me for this, or that. But like genuinely at the end of the day, like, you know, you are who you perceive yourself to be. And so if you perceive yourself as somebody that has so many things to be afraid of, like you're going to be afraid of a lot of situations. Yeah. And like that's just inevitably going to limit you. Yeah. And so I think everybody's New Year's resolution should just be to try to make less fear-based decisions and try to make more decisions that genuinely just intuitively feel right to you.
I love that. Okay, now that I've exposed my dark fears, I think we can wrap it up for the New Year's episode.
But yeah, I really love talking about this with you guys. If you want to share your New Year's resolutions, I would love that. Yeah. Because you never know. Like maybe we should put it on our list.
We would love to put it on our list. DM us, leave it in the comments. We just love hearing from you guys.
So anyway, have so much fun for the holidays, and we will see you in 2025.
See you then. Bye.